Well, hi guys, I'm here with Yoshua Ross from Batay, an amazing guy, really experienced in the whole area of mountain climbing, rappelling, really cool stuff, really important stuff. And today we're going to give you guys 3 basic knots which could actually save your life or your loved ones. So I want to hear a little bit about your background, Yoshua, before we just jump right into it.
Sure. Well, I've been climbing. I'm actually finishing my 40th year of rock climbing. The rock climbing has been a lot in the United States. I was the first ascensionist of over 200 new rock climbs in one particular area. Overall, climbers call it put up, between 400 and 500 first ascents of climbs that have never been done before. From boulders to the first ascents are from boulders to cliffs, but I've also climbed some of the tallest cliffs actually in the world. El Capitan, you've probably heard of in Yosemite. It's very famous. 3,000 foot, essentially a 1,000-meter cliff where you're sleeping on the wall and having to do your whole life in a vertical existence. But really the most important thing for me is the experience of putting oneself in a situation where you don't know what is going to be. You have to deal with the situation and always be able to be thinking ahead and being prepared for whatever will happen while you're climbing. Sometimes that's climbing smoothly and easily. Other times it's a storm that's rolling in, literally lightning coming down, and I've on one occasion had all of the metal of my rock climbing gear start to vibrate from the electricity in the air of the lightning that was getting ready to hit. So rock climbing is not just some on the edge thing that people do. It's something that you're putting your life into, and you're experiencing something that puts you in that very moment, and you're dealing with another person, and you're supporting one another. And these are some of the really important things about rock climbing for me and for most people. It is that experience of living and dealing with that thing at that moment. It's a warrior type of an experience, because that is what it is when a person is in war. They are in a moment where things could be in their control or out of their control at any moment, and we are there for each other.
Wow.
And that's one of the crucial things.
Wow. And if we take it to the daily basis of any civilian, why would it be important for a civilian, for any person, to have a rope with him, or how to know how to use rope?
Well, at any moment, in a person in a car, a person could be driving down the road and be broken down, and someone comes along. You have no way of knowing how to repair that car. Someone could pull you out of a place where the car is stuck, or help tow you behind them to somewhere where things can get fixed. In a house, God forbid that a fire starts and someone's in an apartment building and they're a few stories up and there's a fire down below. If we know how to tie knots, we can tie off to something in the house. Perhaps it's a bedpost, and lower children down, or use that just for your own self-escape if you're alone. And of course, you don't want to lower down a rope with your bare hands, but you have a pair of gloves, you have that tied off, you could get down and put yourself in a safe situation. And many other things. It's countless things that are possible.
So we'll jump right into the 3 knots?
Sounds great.
Okay.
The first one is called a bowline. Probably a lot of people know this knot already. It's a knot that, besides being fairly simple to tie, is easy to untie. And that's one of the difficult things with knots. A lot of times someone will load a rope and then they can't get that knot apart. And if you need to either recover the rope or to be able to use it in the next situation, let's say somebody's getting down out of a building and you need to drop it and someone will use it again at a lower point, well, you need to be able to untie that knot. And that's a serious problem sometimes when people are in an emergency situation. So let's take a look at the bowline knot. Let's see if...
Let's do some close-up.
Sure, let's close up. The bowline knot is very versatile in that you can attach it to very, very many things. It's not so difficult to find a way to get a rope around something, and then very simply you make a loop. Sometimes a second one is added, but it doesn't matter, one or two. That's very simple after that. Try to get my hands out of the way. You bring the rope from underneath, you bring it around the other side, and pull through. Okay, the final knot we're going to look at is called a figure 8 knot, and it's called that because it takes the shape of the number 8. All you do is get a hanging end of a rope, and you loop it around. Now the mistake not to make is just to pull it through. It will work the same way, but getting that knot apart is very difficult. So you bring it through to the point where it looks like the number 8. Okay, so once again, you just get an end, bring it around, then bring it around again. You have the knot. Now, if you have equipment like a carabiner, you can clip it to it and then you're connected to whatever. It's the easiest knot to make connections like that. And let's say you need to just quickly make something that you can pull on. You can just drop it over something and then you have a very simple way of connecting. It's really foolproof. The more tension that's on it, the harder it tightens down on itself. And as well, here, let's give it a really good pull. It's not so hard to take apart. You just push on the two ends and it comes apart. Now if you really load it a lot, it's a little bit more work than that, but it's in the end one of the easier knots to take apart. So 3 knots, the bowline, double fisherman's, and the figure 8. These 3 knots will get people through most situations, and unless you need to tie something off in the middle or shorten the rope, there are special ways of doing that. These will take care of almost anything that you need in a day-to-day basis in a situation where you need to make a fast knot, a strong knot, and something that you can get apart.
Wow, thank you so much, Yoshua.
Oh, my pleasure, Moshe.
Wait, so if I of course have to practice these things, right?
Absolutely.
So how could I practice the ropes, the knots?
Well, anything that you have that's thicker than thread, or just like a very small thin line, you can use. This rope that we started out with is enough, and if you follow, you go back and look at what I did through these, you'll be able to do them easily. They're the simplest of the effective knots. So just rewind and try it again.
Okay guys, so make sure you practice your knots, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you trying to do a knot to save someone's life, or maybe your life, or one of your loved ones, and you forgot how to do that. So make sure you practice. So Yoshua, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next video.